Good evening, good morning, and good night. Welcome to Inappropriate Radio. It's your host, Tasha. Let's get into this. So, hi guys. All is well, okay? I hope all is well with you. Welcome. If this is your first time tuning in, hi, thank you, welcome. No periodic table or alien talk. Please follow us on YouTube at Inappropriate Radio TV. All right. Now, guys, I got this download yesterday. All right, and this morning, rather, in the wee hours, right? And we kind of went over this a bit. We discussed locational astrology, which goes over, the astrological dates that cities were founded and how it affects, the energy of the city and the people that dwell there, and how, these dates that these cities were incorporated, right? Because there's a difference between a founder date, right, and then the incorporation date. Big difference. We'll get into it, but we even talked about Pangea, right? How there was this just one big landmass or mass of land at one point, years and years and billions of years ago, right? And over time, everything started to break up, right? And this is how we got the 7 continents. Well, during this area of Pangea, research shows that this one mass of land was the connection, right, between all the different cave systems. So, and a lot of these cave systems have been discovered, and some of them are still in use today. A lot of them have been blocked off because there are a lot of different things going on that scientists, archaeologists, historians, and geologists, and all these nice scholars have been, looking into. Of course, there's a lot of different mining companies who go down and they are extracting natural resources from, Mother Gaia, Earth, and things of that nature. But that's not what this topic is about, right? The creator, I got a little sketchy and edgy when I got the download, and I was like, I'm not scared, right? I was never a scary person, but I did kind of get this little feeling of hesitancy when the creator told me to do some research on this stuff and to just kind of go over a brief overview. Basically, these cave systems are going to be very important within the next few years, okay? With all of these different astrological events going on, the EMPs, right? The electric magnetic pulse, which is the end result or the aftermath of when a nuclear explosion occurs. The different frequencies that are being emitted from, spacecrafts and different vehicles that are orbiting in other realms and portals. And I'm not lying. I'm not making this stuff up. The Vatican is actually aware of what's going on. And I'm laughing because if you were to just have a conversation with a regular person and they were to give you information on something that they know, they would call you crazy, right? But then when you start looking at information that may be divulged by bigger corporations, bigger entities, and different groups, then it suddenly becomes reliable and credible, right? So the Vatican has even made a report where they basically stated that there's going to be a criteria pretty much for things that are going to be considered supernatural. AKA, it's about to be some shit going on. And we have to say it needs to meet these particular requirements in order to be considered an actual supernatural event. And that's because of a lot of things. Because number one, technology is advancing, and people are going to be straddling that very fine line between spirituality and technology. That's one. For two, we have, as discussed, moved closer to other realms. We're moving and merging timelines. So the different timelines that are in this dimension are merging together, and then we are moving closer to other dimensions within this dimension and also other dimensions. Okay, I hope that makes sense. And they're aware of this, right? So this means entities from other, and we're calling them entities now. They might be calling us entities too, right? We don't know. We just know that we are coexisting with other beings that we have no familiarity with, and we're not even understanding. Not the average person anyway doesn't understand, right? Of course, people who have access to other resources to be able to find more information on these other events, they will be able to better tell you. You could always do your own research. You don't have to listen to me. All right. But God gave me some entry points, right, for these cave systems. And initially, I would always think, that these places were important because this is where they dumped the black people off, and this is where a lot of these cities got their notoriety because of the slave work. But it's a little deeper than that. They were there because these are entry points to cave systems that are pretty much cities, right? They're viable, not valuable, viable, meaning life can be sustained there. They are alive and active and interactive, and they are going to be thriving in the next 10 years, like less than 2 decades. There are going to be underground cave systems that are going to allow us to keep going after a lot of things start to change. I think we kind of went into this, how, some people who won't be able to survive, and it's not like a black-white thing, but that does have a lot to do with it. With the sun getting hotter, and because we're shifting physically, with this whole fake sun thing, a lot of people are catching cancers and all of this. All right, but Newark, New Jersey, founded in 1666. Denver, Colorado, well, it was founded 1858, November 22nd, but incorporated in 1861. Philadelphia, 1682, which is actually one of the country's first cities. Okay, Manhattan, which is an island, 1609, really old. Boston, 1630. Chicago, 1780. Baltimore, 1729. Detroit, 1701, 724, 1701. Atlanta, it was founded in 1837, but it was incorporated 12/29, 1847. Seattle, same thing, 1851. It was founded in 1869. It was incorporated. So basically, these places were being utilized and saturated by different groups, and then it became incorporated, which basically means that it is now a part. It has sovereignty, right? It is a part of the state, which I find interesting because the state comes after the city. It's weird, right? They found these cities were founded first, right? And then after, this big collection of these cities, then the state came. So if you really look up the definition of a city, it's an independent sovereignty. In other words, the people who have authority there have authority over the land and the people there, okay? and they get to create their own rules as far as much as the state will allow. Okay. Now, what the creator was showing me was that there are so many more points, okay, in time that we don't even know these places exist. They're not on the map, okay? It's not that they're off grid, because off grid is like you're out of the way, but it's kind of like you're not really using any electronic devices, and you're not really using anything that a main city would operate off of, like beyond the country. Not even like you're in the country, but kind of. But basically off the grid means that you're not using any electronic devices and everything. You're just living off the land. Okay. Now, because, and to be honest, I was just like, okay, I'm sorry, because he wanted me to talk about the sea level. Now, the sea levels are rising. We know that California, according to research, is going to be one of the first places that will be swallowed up because it is under sea level, and then Florida would be next, mainly the more southern parts. Not sure if you are aware, but all of southern Florida was like swampland. Miami, obviously down to the Keys, up until Orlando. Okay, so the original Florida was pretty much from like Jacksonville down to Orlando. Everything else was swampland. They drained it, so it's basically like half man-made. The original Miami was in Ohio. Okay, so you have to do some research on that and see why that's important. I don't really want to go too far over that. We don't really do politics. We just want to stick to like the history and the geology for right now. But basically this was really important, I'm assuming, because the creator kind of nudged me and shared some things with me that after I put this segment out, a lot of things are going to change. Meaning that the people who listen to me, whoever has access to higher levels of information, I don't know, but I know it's going to heighten my warfare. I'm prepared. I know God is going to suit me and boot me, so I'm not really worried about anything. But yeah, this information is like important. Okay, so I'm going to encourage you guys to start learning about the different cave systems, learning about the different species of insects and other life sources that may be dwelling in certain geographic locations. Different sites that may have different things, right? There may be gold in one location, oil in another, different types of crystals, and it's really important for us to learn this. I'm assuming because some of us might have to go down into these cave systems. Obviously, learning how to swim would be very important. I think that came up before. Learning the different currents that lie underground, the elements. Okay, so we've been talking about the periodic table for over a year already. Just different things. Learning the scope of the land, the terrain, the territory, and the cave systems are a part of that. Okay, so it's going to be really important for us to make sure that we are learning about the cave systems. And the creator also said that if you don't know how to use a compass, you need to learn like how to really use a compass. You need to learn your different coordinates and things like that, because that's going to be important as well. Okay, so yeah, like I'm not really sure why the creator wants us to learn about the cave systems, but like I said, I know it has a lot to do with what's going to be going on soon, especially with this nuclear talk. That's how we're going to survive. This came up before, but yeah. All right, I do love you. I'm going to end it here. I hope y'all enjoyed y'all weekend. I hope y'all have been getting y'all rest. I hope y'all have been drinking your water, eating your fruit and vegetables, and sipping on your own tea, because it's most definitely free. All right, love y'all. Peace.